Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to a show where we are doing another Should We Sign / Should We Sell. In this show in particular, we are discussing Should We Sell Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon, of course, coming through the Everton Academy and doing pretty well. He was a really big, played a big part in last season, keeping us out of trouble. He's been heavily linked in the last couple of days to a move to Chelsea. 40 to 50 million seems to be the fees that are getting thrown around, or very different depending on who's spreading the rumor. But there's a lot of there's certainly a lot of sort of, I don't know what the word is. There's a lot of sort of traction behind it, isn't there? It
A
seems to be
lot of smoke.
yeah, smoke without fire kind of thing, yeah. There's a lot going around and a lot of debate about whether we'd be right to sell or keep. So we're going to discuss that now anyway. Paul, let's start with you. Anthony Gordon, would you sell or keep? Because there's so much debate, and then there's a lot of people sort of debating why you'd sell, why you keep. Would you keep or sell, and why?
If we get offered the sort of figure that's getting bandied about, like somewhere north of 40 million, maybe even 50 million, then for me you've got to sell. And that's not because I don't like Anthony or I don't think he's going to be a good player eventually. I think he's a decent player now, but decent's about it. He's got the potential to be very, very good, but lots of players have potential and then it doesn't work out. But anywhere close to 50 million, you've got to think of what that could do for the club long term. That would sort out all our FFP issues. It would get us a striker, surely, or we could at least afford one. Anthony goes to Chelsea, and you don't know if it'd be a good move for him or not. He goes to a club that is probably going to be pushing him more than Everton are. He's going to be a club where he's going to be competing for things, trophies in the short term. He's going to be working with probably one of the best coaches in Europe, top 4 or 5 in Thomas Tuchel. If we get offered 50 million for him, then I just don't see how you can turn that down. I know fans love him because he works hard and he's a local lad, but sometimes you just have to put your business hat on and just say, if that was us bidding 50 million for, or let's say if that was Chelsea trying to buy some Leicester kid, some local boy for Leicester, and they offered 50 million for him, and he was the exact same player as Anthony Gordon, and would you be saying Leicester should be selling him? I would say they would be. If Leicester got offered 50 million for a player who's their version of Anthony Gordon, I'd be saying they'd be crazy to turn that down. And we're in a position where we need the money far more than Leicester FFP wise. We've just got to take it, for me.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with that. I'll get Mike's opinion on this. Mike, where are you at on Anthony Gordon? Keep, sell, why would you? If and then whatever you choose.
I think what Paul said, it's very true, isn't it? It all depends on overall price, all depends on the initial down payment. There was talk of £25 million and a deal goes up to 42, which we rejected. That's a lot of add-ons, and are not guaranteed. It'll be based on appearances, winning certain trophies, qualifying for the Champions League. There's a lot of factors which come into the deal, which we're talking about, So I think it's going to take, for us to even entertain, I think it will take probably 35 million guaranteed, and then looking upwards towards 50 million pounds as the overall deal. But it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. It's one of those where he's probably held in slightly higher regard because he supports the club. I think when certain players didn't show off last season and didn't show they had the stomach for the fight, he did. Whether that, again, because he's a fan, obviously that will have played into things. We can argue his output isn't fantastic, but he's only a young lad. It's only going to get better. Difficult one. It all comes down to what are we going to get? What are we guaranteed to get from this? And also, will we spend the money wisely in bringing in a striker and a replacement for Anthony Gordon? That's a big question. Recruitment has been better this window so far. It's looked pretty solid. We will, as Farhad Mashiri said, let's judge it at the end of the window, because if we come out of the window with no striker and no Richarlison replacements and Anthony Gordon goes, then it's not a great window. But it looks pretty solid at the moment in terms of what we've done. But I do think it'll take quite a bit more than this £42 million deal, and quite a bit more as a guarantee payment for us to actually entertain any kind of offer, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle there. I think I'm quite keen to see a deal be done here. I'm not like anti Anthony Gordon, as Paul said. I'm the same as that. I really like him, and I'd like to see him do well here. But that kind of financial reimbursement for it, I think, is better than I was expecting. And if we could maybe do a little bit of bartering and get that up a little bit, I think like to what round about like what you said, I think they're like 35 up front and then up to about 50, 55 add-ons would be excellent business. If we could get that, that'd be unbelievable. And
You can never be averse to selling any player, can you? Every single player has got the price, and football's a business, and every club has to sell players. It's how it is. The question is the timing right, and is the money right, and they're the key things. Does it benefit us more selling Anthony Gordon now? Because in 12 months' time, he could go through a season like Dominic Calvert-Lewin did, where he spent 6-7 months injured, and his value automatically drops. So do you go, well, he can get us guaranteed 35 million, potentially 50. Do we take that chance now? Because come next summer, as I say, something could happen where he's worth half that amount of money. So you've got to weigh these things up, haven't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, and even if he stays and has a really, really good season, because I've seen people saying, well, look at the potential that's there. Chelsea rate him so highly, and all these other world-class managers rate him so highly, that if we just persevere with him, then in a couple of years he'll be worth even more than 50 million. I think people are maybe not being honest with themselves with that, because the only reason we're getting the offers we're getting now is because that Chelsea owners, I don't know what he's having pints of, but someone needs to take his phone off of him, because the only team that is interested in Gordon at the moment, or concrete interested in him, it seems to be Chelsea. And I don't think they're going to come, even if Gordon has a blinder of a season, I don't think Chelsea would come back next season and offer us a deal similar to this, because you'd think after all the money he's thrown around this summer, if Chelsea don't get in the top four this season, which there's a very, very good chance of that, considering how strong Tottenham and Arsenal look, they're not going to be spending anywhere near the amount of money next summer that they've spent this summer. And where are you going to get offers of 40, 50 million again next season, even if Anthony does well? Are Tottenham going to come and offer that money for him? Probably not. They've just signed Richarlison, and he's still in his early 20s, so they don't need him. Would Liverpool come in and buy him? No. Would City want to come in and take him? I don't reckon so. They've got that Julian Alvarez now, and Pep seems to like Mahrez. He's probably going to hang around there for a while. And even other teams like United, and I just don't think, even if Anthony plays really well, we're not going to get a team that comes back for us next summer and offers this type of fee again. I think you've just got to strike while the iron's hot, or while you've got an idiot lashing bids in for well overpaying for a player who's not really proven anything yet.
Absolutely.
So it's not. I don't want to sound like I'm anti Anthony Gordon and anything, but I go back to my point again. If Chelsea were after some other club's player who was the exact same as Anthony Gordon and offering the money that they're offering, would anyone be thinking that club would be stupid to sell him? They wouldn't. I just think I think it's just the inner attachment that we seem to put with local lads, and the sentimentality. I just think we've seen it happen so many times over the last 20 years. Local lads who we've had to part with, who didn't quite reach the potential for us, or at least didn't reach it with us. They went and reached it somewhere else, like your likes of your Rooneys, your likes of your Francis Jeffers, your likes of your Ross Barkleys, just these players who had a lot of hope pinned on them, and then they either went before they could realise that potential, or they didn't realise that potential, and in the end they had to just go, and we just leave them with a lot of regrets behind them. I think if we just sell Anthony now and he goes and smashes it, then fair play to him. And if he doesn't smash it, then could very feasibly end up back here. It happened with Pino.
Indeed,
it happened with Ferguson. Stranger things have happened in football. So if
money's being thrown in front of us in the state we're in, cash in.
It reminds me a lot of the Jack Rodwell deal to City, when just out of the blue, City, I think it was under Mancini, he just came in and offered us a very overinflated price for Jack Rodwell, and we just went, that's too good to turn down. good luck, Jack. Here's your train ticket. Get over there and get your medical done, and we'll cash in the money. And no one's got a bad word to say about Rodwell these days. He's still liked by the fans. He's not regarded as a traitor, or at least I don't regard him. I think the only people who've got anything against him are the people who watched that Sunderland documentary and thought he came across a bit poorly. But I don't have any ill will at all towards Rodwell for leaving Everton to go to City. I thought it was a deal that suited all parties, and I think this would be a deal that suited all parties. But whatever happens, if Anthony ends up staying, then I'll get right behind him, and I hope he proves everyone right. People who are so sure that he's going to smash it for us this year. But if these deals, if Chelsea come to us and put a deal on the table, as you're saying, where it's 35-40 million up front and you can get another 10-15 million add-ons, then I just think it would be irresponsible to turn it down personally, because it would sort out so many problems. It's not like we're getting offered 20 million and then we go spend 15-20 million on a striker, and then that striker maybe doesn't work out, and then we think, oh, you know what, we should have just kept Anthony Gordon in the first place, instead of swapping him for this fella. Even if we sign someone with this fee, if it comes through and it doesn't work out, we've still put a massive dent in FFP, and that's the biggest problem at the club. We've got to get that FFP sorted for the long term, and this would go a long way to doing that if it happens.
Without a doubt. So we'll finish up here anyway. We've pretty much gone through it anyway. But Mike, keep or sell Anthony Gordon?
If the price is right, then you sell. It's just you've got to do it. As Paul said, it will solve or should solve various problems that we've got. But as I say, the price is key.
Absolutely, Paul.
Yeah, the same as Mike. It's you sell them if, and it's a big if, the money that they put down is right. I wouldn't take a penny under 30 million as a down payment. Personally, if they offer us 25 with another 15-20 in add-ons, then it's a no. They've got to offer us anywhere north of 30 million, and the add-ons have got to go up to about 50. Then I'd take it.
Yeah, it's if the price is right. Again, that's everyone has the price, but if the price is right, then I think I'm on the same page. Cash in. But you did have it, guys. If you beg to differ, obviously get your comments in. Everyone let us know how you're feeling about the potential sale of Anthony Gordon. Would you keep, would you sell? Get the comments in, give us a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching on the Soft and Blues.